longing, ambition, vengeance. Powerful emotions that fuel our lives. But are they enough when death lurks around every turn? When fear and destruction consume us. Again and again and again. Join my tournament. Find out once and for all what it takes to defy death. Show me the strength of your will, Screamers!
So today we are actually at PlayOn and we are talking with Andrea Basilio. And what is your position at the company? Let's explain that by your own words.
Yeah, well, I am Andrea Basilio from Milestone. I'm the executive producer and associate creative director.
Awesome. And we are here because in Germany we know the brand as Bleifuß and the international title is Screamer. And they are actually doing a new part of the game that's going to be released next year. And it was actually your idea to bring the game to the next level, basically, and have the old streamer idea to a new, I would say, a painting, I guess. Perhaps explain the ideas you had.
Well, Screamer was the first big success of Milestone almost 30 years ago. Here, I know that here in Germany is still very famous, but a lot of people in all the Europe and all the world ask us a lot of time when you create a new Screamer, why you don't go for a Screamer game. So we thinking and we try to do that a lot of time in our history, but now we reckon that this is the right time because there are not many arcade games. Now all the racing games are very realistic and serious. Even the arcade games needs more elements that are becoming not arcade anymore. So we want something that is fast, is really easy to play. So we start thinking about the Screamer, and we start to create the same feelings, but with new mechanics and having a game that is good for 2026.
No, I mean, to be honest, you have the perfect timing for the release because if we look at your competitors around you, EA just announced they are putting Need for Speed on ice, and the last test drive, Unlimited Solar Crown, was a disaster. So and also Project Cars was discontinued. Is that coincidence that you do it now, or was it just lucky timing that all your competitors struggle to bring good arcade games?
Well, I mean, from one side, lucky for us. From the other side, I'm a bit sad because, a lot of really talented people working on that games. I'm a huge fan of Need for Speed and other arcade and not all arcade game, but we are starting this game more than 2 years ago. So we don't know that, but we know that the arcade era was ended and no one having a new arcade game like, for instance, Burnout is called Split Second. They were the last few true arcade games that are out, and we're speaking about like 20 years ago. It's long time. So for this reason, we are going now postponing.
It's actually interesting that you mentioned Split Second because the reason they discontinued Split Second 2 was actually they said there's no market for it to have a success. And also, it's interesting because we had a presentation beforehand by your co-workers, and they told us they think it's quite a risk to make something new because the new Screamer is also with manga story style, and the last time Need for Speed Unbound, and then they tried the graffiti street style, they got a shitstorm from the community, like, oh my god, And then EA was like, okay, guys, now with the patch, you can disable it. Aren't you afraid that the community might not like your new direction of the IP?
Well, Screamer, I mean the new one, is taking inspiration from the old Screamer that was a 90 games. Basically, the old one bring in the houses of the people the arcade experience from the arcade. I mean the arcade games. So we take inspiration from the anime from the 90s, especially. So because we want to create a whole package of 90 experience. And our game is truly an anime, have an anime story with cutscenes in anime style made by anime studios. It's not a middle way like Speed. They need a kind of middle way between realistic and anime. Our game is some way realistic. You tried it, so it's easy. It's difficult to explain, but you will understand better when you see the game. And we also have cutscenes in anime style. So the story is very important, the game, but is very linked to all the gameplay.
And now let's talk a bit about the controlling schemes.
Yeah.
Because that's interesting. Over the history of Stream, it actually changed quite a bit. I remember Streamer 1 was the car was clicking through a street, and it was like very, very, well, like a bus. You're driving a bus around the corner, and very stiff. Stiff is the word. And back then you either played with the analog light stick shape, or with the keyboard even, which is digital. And then with, I remember the screen, and you were drifting around all the time and constantly not trying to hit the wall and lose the race. But in your case, you're actually using a controller and 2 analog thumbstick. I mean, for me, at the first 10 seconds, it was overwhelming because you were constantly using the thumbs, trying to also drift, but also with the ultimate thumbstick, your car in the direction. What made you doing this very unique control style? Why reinventing the wheel?
I mean, working on a new game, especially an arcade game, we want to put something new, and we study a lot of how doing that. I mean, racing games are not very known in the last 30 years, at least. So we want to go full for a new experience. So we put the double stick that is very easy to use. Other games in the past tried double stick, but our double stick is very is more easy to try than explain, but it's very easy to when you move the other stick, basically the car turn immediately. So it's very natural. And also we have all the action part of the fighting part of the game that is also the uniqueness of this game.
Nice. You mentioned the story part. I mean, is it like what we know from Need for Speed Underground or something? Like, I try to be the best racer of the bunch? Or the other ones where you try to flee the police? What is special about the enemy concentrated story?
Well, the story is an important part of the game because we don't make the game and then put the story on it just for, making something that's working, but we actually create the story in the same time that we creating all the game mechanics. So all the mechanics in the game are part of the story, fundamental part of the story. And also our racers are not racers by professional. They are not speaking about cars every time. They obviously they care about the tournament that is set, but they are not obsessed by winning. Every character have an arc. Some they have to make a revenge, some to have to make other things, discover technologies, other situations, but is more deep than that. Is more. Sometimes I need the example with the Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball, especially the beginning of the saga, or the Z saga, is around the tournament, but you don't really care who win the tournament. Who is remember who win the tournament in the end? The fact is, is covering all the characters they are firing in the town.
Interesting. So you're really making not a racing game, you're making a story-driven anime experience
Yeah,
that contains racing.
yeah. This is the idea. From the very beginning, we start thinking about the characters. The first thing that we think about it was the characters. Then the story started to appear. At the same time, we are working also on the part of all the gameplay. So when we add something in the gameplay, we ask to ourselves, okay, but in the story, this makes sense. On the other way around, when we add something in the story, we are thinking, okay, but how this is working on the gameplay side of the game.
When we played test and had to look at the free alpha, it really felt a bit like you are in the universe of Cyberpunk and 2077, because it's very cyber and very modern with neon lights
Yeah.
and very strong colors and so on. Is that intentional?
Well, I mean, when you touch the cyberpunk kind of thing, not the 2027 cyberpunk, but in general cyberpunk, obviously that cyberpunk is coming quite easy. Our inspiration are more of the anime from the 90s, like Ghost in the Shell, Akira, that kind of things. I suppose they use same kind of reference, so this is the neither.
Exactly, Golden Shell is the anime everybody knows, even those who are not into the anime thing. So is also the goal to get new audience, the youngsters, not just old people?
Yeah. Well, the coolest thing that we made at the very beginning when we concept the game is that the game is from 3 different people. I'm the associate creative director, and so the creative director and the game director, and we are 3 persons with 3 different generations. So my boss is older than me. He was growing up with, the giant robots from the 70s. I'm growing up with Evangelion or Cowboy Bebop, that kind of things. And the game director is more young and grew up with more recent stuff. So we blend all together the experience and try to, have it old generation anime kind of feeling.
That's actually something Dennis here I noticed that also when you crash and so on, the screen is distorting and it's shaking. So it's more like from the first person perspective, but more from the outside angle. It's not like you are inside the car. And that's interesting because from the last Meteor Speeds releases, for example, a lot of people were complaining that you don't have an in-cockpit view. Is it actually something you consider? I mean, it's so early on, or do you say, no, we want to have the from the outside view on the car?
No. The game feature also the inside view. I mean, we have a great passion and we have a great heritage about the racing games. And in our perspective, it's impossible to make a racing game without an internal kernel.
I mean, the argument was always it's not arcadey enough if you are sitting in the car, which I always thought it's totally BS because I like really sitting in the car. And if you go back in the history, that, for example, when you have Test Drive, which was first released in 87 of the Commodore 64, the reason why it was so successful was because it was the first game with a realistic cockpit view. Exactly, and was like, oh my god, how did they make this possible? And to say now it's not arcadey and what people also forget is that you at Milestone, you also do the MotoGP license, so you have the experience with simulation, as it's probably you probably know best what works, right?
Well, we have, as I said, great experience on racing games. In MotoGP, I've also ride our other franchise on bikes. We have the helmet view, so you have the helmet vision with all the cockpit and stuff. So for us, it's quite normal to have internal views.
Let me ask you, how do you plan to release this thing? I mean, now we have a whole new universe. I mean, for the first time, we have a Nintendo product with the Switch 2 that's actually capable of doing triple A games. So the console market there, the mobile console market, play a big role in the title release.
Right now, the game is set for 2026. We don't have a date yet, and is currently developing for Gen 9, so Xbox S and X, and PS5 and PC, obviously. We don't have any other plan right now, but I mean, in the future we will see.
The fact that you said a story-driven, also manga-themed game that has potential to make a story expansion at some point. Not only new cars, new tracks. Is that something you consider, or is it too early?
Yeah, it's very early to say that. We have a lot of plan because we love all our world. We create the characters, we create all the cars. We have a great partnership for the anime part, also for the cars. We have people that work in cinema for creating the cars that are good, nice, and also believable. So we want to make everything we can in the future, but it's yet very early to say that. I mean, after the release, we can speak again about this.
Interesting remark when we got the presentation of the game. The first comment was always like, "Peace, guys, it's an early pre-beta, even pre-alpha," it said on the screen. It will look a lot nicer in the final product, and we were like, "It's already looking perfect."
Yeah.
I wonder how much virtual finesse is missing yet.
Well,
What are we missing?
Well, to be honest, we are very, very happy of the build that we bring here in Germany, and we work a lot for that. So we are super happy about it. But I know that we can make something a bit more better, and also there are just few tracks here, and we have a lot of other tracks to do. So we will see. The game is gonna be better for this version, but this version is, as you said, is very nice.
I mean, if you look at it, PC gaming development is a lot harder than it was used to be in DOS times. I mean, now we even have Intel ARC GPUs. Yeah, you have to support 200 hard screens and, frame generation, whatever, and AI. Everything is having AI. And you totally skipped all this graphic talk about what kind of features we have there. It's AI driven and so on. You didn't even mention that. So you are not tailoring it with the the buzzwords in marketing.
I mean, don't make much sense in the way of the game is made by our people. We don't like much the AI things for the creative part. We were one of the first studios in the past that uses the AI for for driving the cars. So the opponent are trained for and they're using the neural AI for driving the cars like the real people. So we use that, and we create that like I think 10 years ago with other games. So we are starting with that, but we don't really believe in artificial intelligence on the artistic part, creative part. So everything you see is created by hand from someone from the team. Yeah.
Now, being a streamer player myself, and may I ask you, will it be as hard as in the 90s? I remember especially streamer rally was like, oh my god, I will never master this game, because you were hitting the ball left and right, even when you broke, when you hit the brakes, because the sliding was uncontrolled. It was like driving nice. The total contrast to the first streamer I matched with that. Do you make it easier for the beginners?
I mean, the game have a lot of different aspects. especially the fighting part with boost, strike, a lot of mechanics. So it's going to be not difficult, but the players see time to give a good feeling of all the different mechanics. But the game is accessible. Is the classic easy to play, but up to master. Especially after the campaign. I don't say too much because my communication guys otherwise kill me probably. Right.
You don't have to spill too much.
Yeah. But after the campaign, I mean the narrative part of the game, in the end game, the people is going to play other kind of part of the game, and it's going to be really cool. And I mean, the game is gonna be easy to play, but up to master.
So I guess you can tailor it to immediate, novice, experts, and brutally impossible.
In some way, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that would be all from my side. Thanks for taking the time. Totally awesome. And I'm really looking forward to this new game.
Thank you.
It's totally promising.
Thank you.
And enjoy the rest of games.
You too. Thank you.